Hey, Msoul. Imagine you paddling on my way. It's nice that we have these hangouts. It's been a beautiful summer. And, I never get tired of being on the water, looking at the sunrises and the sunsets. I love it all. Well, I'm in a pretty good mood, and I hope you are too. And if not, let me try to put you into one. Hey, I've been doing all my research on all these different, terms that come from living on the water and living on sailing ships. Back when wind was the power source and not a motor. Anyways, hey, if you're not a good swimmer, don't worry, I can show you the ropes. Huh? That saying, show you the ropes, or getting to know the ropes? It's part of some of the essential skills that sailors need. Crucial to know the ropes on board a ship, and there will be a lot of ropes to know. For example, Admiral Lord Nelson, HMS Victory, required a staggering 26 miles of rigging. Knowing what each rope did and what it was connected to ensured a ship's smooth operation. Can't imagine getting that wrong. That would be a really bad idea. And today, you'll likely be shown the ropes when starting a new job or hobby. And you know the ropes once you've been informed and you understand how to do something. Also, batten down the hatches. I think we kind of all know that one. When a storm was on its way and the sea was expected to be particularly rough, waves really big, the captain would give the order to batten down the hatches. Hatches were the openings in the main deck, usually covered with wooden grating and designed to allow cargo into the hold and ventilation into the ship's interior. To batten them down meant to cover them with the tarpaulin or tarp, which was secured in place with wooden strips known as battens. Oh, batten down the hatches. So cover it and hold it down. Okay, today you might hear someone advise you to batten down the hatches to mean you should prepare for a big storm or some other trouble coming. I like this one. Down the hatch. I've heard people say that at restaurants, bars, taverns. Well, let's see. Well, cargo would be lowered down the hatch to reach the hold, almost as if the ship was eating the goods. Which is why you may hear someone say down the hatch when they're telling someone to eat or drink something. Ooh, this is a tough one, but not applicable to us today. Dead in the water. On a windless, still day, a ship could sit motionless or dead in the sea. And dead in the water now refers to a project or an idea that has no momentum and it's not going to go anywhere. Not going to be profitable. So just drop it. Go on to something else. Got it. It's not moving along. There are so many terms I had no idea had everything to do with living on a sailing ship. And I've never lived on one or worked on one. So that's kind of interesting that I know so many. How about you? What do you think? Do you know one? Put it in the comments if you want to share. Any of you out there really sailors? Are you out there on boats all the time for your job? Tell me all about your sayings. We'd love to know. Anyways, plain sailing. Sailing that's straightforward and easy is plain sailing. Today you might just say something is all plain sailing if it doesn't require much effort. Oh, smooth sailing from here. I know that one. That must come from this. It's all smooth sailing from here. You don't have to do much work. It's just going to go. It's going to be all right. I do hear a lot having loose ends or don't leave any loose ends. So at a loose end, when a sailor would run out of tasks on board ship, in order to prevent them from becoming idle, the captain might have asked them to check the ends of ropes and make sure none of them had started to fray or unravel. So nowadays, you might find yourself at loose end if you've run out of things to do or you're unsure of what to do next. Don't leave any loose ends. Don't be unsure, make sure it's done. Hitched. I know, getting hitched. That's getting married, right? Getting hitched. At sea, when a sailor joined two ropes together, they were said to be hitched. Aww, now this phrase colloquially means to get married. Put two together. Now they're stuck together real good and strong. They're going to stay tight. I hope so. I hope so. And to make ends meet, I definitely know that one. Similar to getting hitched or hitching, when sailors would attach two pieces of rope to make one long piece, they were said to be making ends meet. Nowadays, this means to make just about enough money to live on or get by. So like living paycheck to paycheck is making ends meet. Oh, for a sailor it means I don't have enough rope. Let's put two short ones together, have a big one so we can do this thing. That's so funny. That's so funny, but it makes total sense. Total sense. Yeah. I think I know. I can find a few more things. A clean slate. Now, I always thought to have a clean slate was to be like in the 1800s, one-room schoolhouses with like all the grades together, and you had that slate board like made of magnetite or slate, of slate, and like the kids could write on it, but then you have to erase it and do it again. That was their notebook. That was their iPad. Was slate. That's stone. So I always thought to clean the slate was like that it's blank, so you could like do new things on it, right? Get ready to work. Is actually an nautical term, not from land at all. Deck slates, like the one, like those old chalkboard minis that kids would have in the 1800s, right? They would be used as deck logs to keep note of important navigational information like knots and fathoms, meaning the depth of the water and the wind speed. So you knew what you were dealing with when you're sailing in, eh? At the end of the night, when the night shift changed and the calculations were no longer useful, the slate would be wiped clean by the new officer on watch. Today, to wipe the slate clean means to make a completely fresh start or let go of the past. So for sailors, to have a clean slate means, oh, it's the next day. We're starting over again. And they can chart the new stuff that they need to make sure they don't have any mistakes on the water. Nobody wants a mistake on the water. They didn't have floaties and water wings and inner tubes like we do. If they went in, they went to Davy Jones' locker, which is another term. But, Jack Sparrow taught us all about that. Anywho. How you doing over there? Are you relaxing like me? Glad I could be your white noise. Nah. And how? Boopity boop 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 boopity boop boop. What other things do we say or talk about a lot? I actually was thinking about the word zigzag because I just thought that meant like running back and forth in traffic or making like diagonal lines for artwork and making the letter Z. But there actually is a history to zigzag. I wanted to share that. So zigzag actually comes from being a sailing maneuver used to advance against the wind. So when you had a strong wind coming straight at you, you went on diagonals. Well, it's like when you're in an emergency situation in the water, you don't try to swim against the current, you do zigzags. So a zigzag comes from the boat going in the letter Z kind of patterns to keep going forward if a wind is pushing against your sails. And a zigzag is what we would do for emergency situations. If you're in the water, you're against the current, you got to get to the other side. You got to go in zigzags to kind of climb through ladder rungs, I would kind of suggest. So water maneuver, interesting to get to the other side. Unlike the chicken, to stay alive and not drown. All right. Anyways, what else can I tell you? To walk the plank, we all know what that is. It's a fictional execution method. It's now cliche for being forced to leave. Walk the plank, get out, you're gone, goodbye. My bows are inspiring this little adventure into fun facts of words. X marks the spot. It's not originally nautical, but treasure maps are a staple of seafaring lore, and X is on the treasure map for telling us where to dig. We hope it's true. We think so. That's alright. Anyways, the undertow. I've actually been dragged out by one of these once, and my life was saved by ramming myself into the bottom of a coral reef. So hard, I smashed my hands and feet onto it repeatedly to climb myself up from and almost dragged right underneath it, knowing that I would get coral embedded in my body parts. But if I didn't ram myself in and like impale myself as I climbed myself up, which let me tell you, I had a lot of mental strength in that one. And my prayers to Poseidon, who did answer my call with one tiny little sip of air from a crashing wave that curled under. I forced my face into it and got like a half a sip of air. That was all I got. And I had to push, climb, impaling myself so I didn't get stuck under. And some of that coral, red coral, it looked like black coral reef, but it was red when it was inside my body. Maybe that's the blood going on, I don't know. But it stayed in there for 2 years. There was some real significant nerve damage too. One of my palms and under my feet, between the balls of the feet and the toes that I rammed. And one of my boobs. And all of my wrists, which really freaked me out because I have a big thing about, I don't like the sense of, hope no one ever like smoosh rides themselves. The wrist splashing thing, me no likey. And so I've always had a fear of that, being cut there. I'm always protecting my wrists. Leather gauntlets are one of my favorite things, so not a fake thing that I put gauntlets on my avatar lady here. But yeah, so just to say, undertow's scary thing. It looks like a piece of rectangular flat water coming straight at you. Get away from it. Get away from it fast. You probably won't even swim fast enough by the time you see it. Anyways, it's a subsurface current pulling seaward. And it's now a metaphor for hidden danger. Well, let me tell you, it very much is. And when I climbed myself up off that coral reef, the man who stepped on my shoulder and head to get up was a very, very over 6 feet tall, fit-looking, blue-eyed blonde. I think possibly from Sweden, who I will never forgive, who hung his head in shame while other people said she was under there for a long time. They didn't even know I went under there, because that man used me as a ladder. So stay away from people who are afraid to drown, because they will drown you. He wouldn't even look me in the eyes. It took a while before anyone was willing to go into the water. Everyone was afraid, and I'm like, so I yelled very loudly so he would feel ashamed more. Well, since I was the one that was supposed to die, I guess I'll test the water. I swam as fast as I ever could, let me tell you, back to shore, where I immediately took a very smexy picture of myself, topless. You don't see that part though. Spread my hair everywhere because, with my eyes closed, because I was supposed to be dead at that moment. I would have been fish food. Thank you, Poseidon, for answering my call, my dear uncle. Thank you so much, because, well, I wouldn't be here to be talking to you guys right now. But it was a very smexy picture. I still have it. Anyways, because of an undertow. Or you never would have got that kind of picture out of me. There were a few taken that day. I was a bit scarred on that one. And yet I still swim every day in a pool. In a pool now. In a pool. That Mediterranean almost ate me, I'll tell you that. Alright, anyways. To be ship-shape, neat and orderly, as a well-kept ship should be. You don't want to trip, really, because if you fall, you're over the deck. Really. And I just want to say this word because it's cute. Scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt. I imagine, when I hear scuttle, I think of a scarab trying to crawl away really fast. The scuttlebutt, we know what a butt is. Nice and fluffy. A nice and fluffy scarab trying to get away. No, but really, a scuttlebutt is a cask of drinking water, which came to mean gossip or rumors. I guess because people hang around those water tanks or water coolers, or they used to before COVID. Now I think we're all at this Starbucks counter. I don't know. The scuttlebutt. I don't like scuttlebutt. So, I hope everybody bites their tongue who's scuttlebutting. Anyways. Okay. The most famous emoji in Canada. This is a poop emoji. And I don't like that it became marketed and all that, because I think that's not in good taste, but because I'm a shishimumu person. But the poop deck, the high deck at the ship's rear. Not as funny to sailors as it sounds. I know in the World of Warcraft, you're always trying to climb up, like, you want to get up onto that short half deck that's above the main deck you walk in on. You got to climb those masts to try to get those little hidden caches and treasures of the land for the treasure achievement. But yeah, I didn't even know that's the poop deck. But I suppose, if you had an accident up there, when you see a tidal wave coming, you're like, holy bleep, we got to get out of here. Or a kraken, holy bleep. And whatever you do there, by accident, because you in fear pooped yourself, I guess with the water swashing over the edges, it would just trail down to the people down below. No, I don't think that's why. I'll have to look that one up. I don't even know. I don't know. Ooh, and another one I always assumed was just a bartending term. Oh my goodness. There's some pollen in the breeze. Oh, I should have taken my Claritin. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. And I'm like, let me just adjust myself in the inner tube. Oh. Okay, so on the rocks. Oh my goodness, that's so silly. Okay, on the rocks. I always thought like that means you throw ice cubes into your water glass to have a drink. I'm sorry. I didn't know why ice would be used to suggest rocks, although icebergs are very significant things you don't want to slam into, and I guess they would be the rocks of the water world. But on the rocks, actually, oh goodness, I'm so sorry. I did that. I'm so sorry. On the rocks means you're shipwrecked, and it's used for relationships or businesses in trouble because basically it's getting wrecked. Aww. Okay. So that's the sound. I hope that's not happening to you right now. I'll be back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. I have to cut that out. Oh my god. Why is there pollen out in the wind? Oh my goodness. Okay, we gotta cut that out. Alright. Okay. I think I need to head back to the resort. On land, because I'm gonna need some Claritin. But wait, have you ever gone to, like, just to, like, go to, like, Mexico, and you go to, like, a Jack Tar village, which is, like the matter? I don't know. And it's, oh my goodness, it's like all inclusive if you got the money for that. And the pool bar is open, you can swim right up, and all that stuff's all inclusive. I think it is, or used to be. Maybe, I don't know. And it's always like got a beautiful sandy beach right on the water. And I always just took it for granted Jack Tar Village was named after some guy, some beach guy. But actually, Jack Tar is a common nickname for a British sailor. So Jack Tar villages, British sailors are there. So Jack Tar village would be like British sailors are like living there. So I wonder who was the British sailor in Mexico. There's Jack Tar villages, or there used to be, all over there. I'll have to check that out, but I think they're still there. They're like, yeah, all-inclusives. Which really neat. So check that out. But I never knew. It was to refer to a Jack Tar. A Jack Tar is a British sailor. That's a thing. Ooh, there's another one. High and dry. It means the standard above the water line, and it nowadays means to be abandoned or to be unsupported, which I hope you're not. I hope you know I'm here trying to always support you, and I'm on your team, and I'm cheering for you, and I'm hoping the best. That's why I'm here, so we can chit chat whatever you need. You know, me gabbing at ya, random stuff. keep you busy, keep your mind going, white noise in the background, keep you company while you fall asleep. I won't leave you high and dry. Oh, I wonder, is there anything else I know. You know, like that movie with the Little Mermaid, and there's Ursula, the bad guy witch, who's like the squid lady, who I hope is not down under there right now, looking at me like Jaws. Oh, don't get me started on him. But her two sidekicks were Flotsam and Jetsam. And I thought that's got to come from something, because I've heard that before, Flotsam and Jetsam, but Disney made it popular. Ursula made them popular, right? And so I found out Flotsam and Jetsam is the debris from a shipwreck and items that jettisoned overboard now used for miscellaneous junk. So Flotsam and Jetsam. So it's the stuff that's floating around that was jettisoned off the ship. And I just keep thinking World of Warcraft. All those achievements I got from, if I saw crates floating around in one of those pools of water, and those pools, you know, like the shinier little disc of water lit up when we go to do the Stranglethorn fishing competitions and stuff, because you want to get that salty title. Yes, you do. It's awesome. And so Flotsam and Jetsam, the debris, those cargo floating around that I've been fishing for to get achievements in World of Warcraft, Flotsam and Jetsam. No idea that's what it was. They all have different names inside the game, but that's what humans would be calling it. Yeah, and I've always loved fishing for that stuff. You know, get some extras that you could sell off or stick into your guild bank as an offering, even as a newbie or a lobby character. So that's great. I actually liked knowing that. That was fun to know. Yeah. So you know, when I'm out here on the water, I'm always looking around for the boys. There's other kind of boys. The things that bob around the water. Kind of, you know. What's that girl's name? She was from Gossip Girl, the blonde one, Blake Lively. I know she was in a movie where she had to hide from a shark, and so she climbed up onto one of those buoys, like those big bobby things. It was had a pyramid of metal with a flag on top, and it rocked back and forth in the water. That's a buoy, B-U-O-Y. And I know what do you call them? Lifeguards at pools and beaches. They might have a buoy. You know, the people who ran around on, what was that one with Pamela Anderson? Baywatch. And they run with one of them with a rope around them, and it's attached to a buoy. That thing they held in their hand, a red thing with the handle, and it floats. So a buoy is a floating marker, and metaphorically it's used to mean a source of guidance or support. But they actually are life-saving devices. They do let you know you're getting too far from shore and that kind of thing. And they kind of show you, yeah, they're measured certain distances from shore. And I find that, yeah, if you see it, people must be nearby, right? People must be in range. So have some hope. You're going to get there. If your ship is sinking, climb on. Hope someone finds you. At least the flag is a signal to anyone in a crow's nest looking out for you with their little telescope thing. Wait, what do you call that? Is it a telescope? Yeah, it is. It's a telescope. Anyways, haha. So what else can I tell you before you go today? Well, aye, Capitar. Basically, I think we know that. When a sailor says, aye, it's their way of saying I understand and I will comply. Kind of like on a walkie-talkie to be like, copy. And of course, you hear me say this to you sometime, ahoy. Ahoy! It's a traditional shout used by sailors to hail a ship or a boat. To say hi, to flag it down. To get their attention, even. That's what that is. Anyways. And finally, for those people that are just too much, what the sailors would say is overboard. It came from falling off of a ship, but nowadays it could be used if someone's overboard. It means excessive, or they're to the extreme. They're going overboard, doing too much. It's just too much. Overboard. Anyways. Well, I think I actually run out of nautical fun facts for you guys, but I hope you found this entertaining and relaxing. And I think it's time to let you head back to shore. I mean, if you're heading to a Jack Tar village, I hope you have some fun on the sandy beaches. Volleyball is always a good thing. We're heading to the pool. Water polo with no fear of piranha or Jaws or Ursula or Flotsam and Jetsam. Swimming around your ankles, planning no good for your little tootsie toes. Alright. This is Venus Callida, having fun in the sun, having fun on the water. And listen, I think I'm going to ditch this inner tube and go swimming. You should too. Or something else you love to do. Whatever it is, go have some fun out there today. We get this one journey in this body, and our souls need to be fed. Keep it alive. Keep yourself stimulated. Remember, find things to do that make you feel happy, content, peaceful, fun. Have a good laugh. I wish you all the best. And if nobody else remembers to tell you this today, you're awesome. So get out there and feed your soul. Feed your inner child. Go love this life. And don't forget to hydrate. And I'll see you next time. Bye, Msoul.